Hi students, in this video we will be solving question number 11 from the exercise 10.1 from the chapter straight lines, and this is a first PU syllabus. If you go to playlists and look for straight lines folder, you will be able to find all the sums and derivations related to this chapter. So let us check the question number 11. The slope of a line is double the slope of another line. We have two lines such that the slope of one line is double the slope of the other line, and one more data is given. If tangent of the angle between them is 1 by 3. What do you mean by tangent? Tangent is nothing but tan of the angle. Okay, tangent of the angle is nothing but tan of the angle. If tangent of the angle between them is 1 by 3, that is, let us say these two lines make an angle theta, then tan theta is 1 by 3. That is what is the meaning of this. Okay, now find the slopes of the line. Given these two data, we have to find the slopes of the lines. Let us consider two lines, and if theta is the angle made between them, then tan theta is 1 by 3. Is this clear? The angle can be this also. We are not worried about which angle it is because we are already given the value of tan theta. Angle can be this or it can be this. Now let us solve it. Let m1 and m2 be the slopes of two given lines such that m1 is equal to m and m2 is equal to 2m. As per data, we will call the slopes of the lines as m1 and m2. And as per the data, slope of one line is double the slope of the other line. So I am calling m1 as m and m2 as 2m. Okay. So if slope of one line is m, then slope of the other line is 2m. We'll call the lines as L1 and L2, and slope of L1 is m or m1 and slope of L2 is m2 or 2m. Is this clear? So now when we know the angle between two lines, what is the formula? When we know the slopes, what is the formula to find the angle between them? It is tan theta is equal to modulus of m2 minus m1 by 1 plus m1 into m2, and the denominator is not 0. This formula we have already learnt and understood. So we are applying the data to this formula. That is, for tan theta we will be substituting as 1 by 3, and for m1 and m2 we will substitute as m and 2m. Clear? Yes. Given that the tangent of angle between them is 1 by 3, so what I just explained, I am writing it here. That is, tan theta is 1 by 3. So after applying the data to this formula, it will be 1 by 3 is equal to modulus of 2m minus m whole divided by 1 plus 2m into m. So, students, here if you interchange m and 2m, the value of this whole term does not change as there is modulus here. When simplified, we get 1 by 3 is equal to modulus of m divided by 1 plus 2m square. When modulus is applied, the whole quantity will be positive. M square is positive, but m can be negative. M can be positive or negative. Correct? So, when we remove the modulus, we have to consider both the signs because there are possibilities of m being negative. So, we have to consider both the signs. So we will be writing this as 1 by 3 is equal to plus or minus m by 1 plus 2m square. Now we will consider two different cases. The first case would be a positive term and the second case would be negative term. And we will find the value of m. When we find the value of m, what we are going to get here is m1. M is nothing but m1. And what is 2m? M2 is 2m. So when we get m, you just multiply by 2, we get the slope of the other line, that is m2. Correct? Let us do it now. When there is modulus here and we will be considering both positive and negative sign, the interchanging these two, 2m and m, does not affect the value. So don't worry. So we are considering the first case when the term is positive 1. 1 by 3 is equal to m by 1 plus 2m square. Now let's cross multiply. 1 plus 2m square is equal to 3m. Take 3m to LHS. This gives us 2m square minus 3m plus 1 is equal to 0. And this is a quadratic equation. So if we solve for m, we get the slope of the first line. That is, we get the slope of the line or we get the slope m1. So we will be writing this as 2m square minus 2m minus m plus 1 is equal to 0. Students, I am assuming that you already know how to solve a quadratic equation. So I am not explaining how I am writing all this. Okay. Now from these two terms, we are taking 2m as common factor. And from these two terms, I am taking minus 1 as common factor. Then it would be 2m into m minus 1. And from this minus 1 into m minus 1 equal to 0. Now we can take out m minus 1 common from both the terms. This will be m minus 1 into 2m minus 1 equal to 0. Now equate both the terms to get the value of m. M is either equal to 1 or it is equal to half. So what is m? M is nothing but m1, slope of one particular line. So what is the slope of the other line? It is 2m, correct? So to find the slope of the other line or to find m2, we have to multiply 2 to both the terms. So two different cases again we will consider in this. If m1 or slope of the first line happens to be 1, then what is the slope of the other line? You multiply it by 2. Then it will be 2, right? So the slopes of the lines are 1 and 2. This is first possibility in case 1. Okay. Now if m happens to be half, that is slope of the first line happens to be half, then slope of the second line has to be 2m, correct? So 2m is 1. Double, no? Slope of one line is double the other. So then pair of lines can have the slopes as half and 1. You understood now? So there are two such pairs possible in case 1 only. Now we will check case 2. In case 2, we will be considering the negative sign. So 1 by 3 is equal to minus m divided by 1 plus 2m square. Cross multiply and we get 1 plus 2m square is equal to minus 3m. Then move this minus 3m to LHS. What we get is 2m square plus 3m plus 1 is equal to 0. On solving the quadratic equation, we get 2m square plus 2m plus m plus 1 is equal to 0. From these two terms, we'll take 2m as common factor and from these two, we'll take 1 as common factor. So it is 2m into m plus 1 into m plus 1 equal to 0. So you take out m plus 1 common from both the terms. It will be m plus 1 into 2m plus 1 equal to 0. Then what do we get the value of m as? M is either equal to minus 1 or it is equal to minus half. Again, two cases are possible. When m is equal to minus 1, that is slope of the first line is minus 1, then slope of the second line is 2 times this. So it has to be minus 2. So pair of slopes are minus 1 and minus 2. Slopes of the pair of lines would be minus 1 and minus 2. And if the slope of the first line, that is m1, happens to be minus half, then again multiplied by 2 because the slope of the second line is twice the slope of the first line. So m is equal to minus half, then 2m has to be minus 1. So it is minus half and minus 1. The slopes of the lines are. Then see, in the first case we got two different pairs of lines. In the second case also we have got two different pairs of lines. So the slopes of the lines are, that is, we have got four different possible pairs of lines. You got it? Four pairs is what we have got. So in the first pair, if the slope of one line happens to be minus 1, then slope of the other line will be minus 2. Or in the second pair, if the slope of one line happens to be minus half, then the slope of the other line would be minus 1. In the third pair, if the slope of first line happens to be 1, then the slope of the second line happens to be 2. And again, fourth pair, the slope of the one line happens to be half, the slope of other line would be plus 1. So these are four pairs of lines that are possible. So we have found the slope of the four pairs of lines for the given condition. Is this clear, students? If you still have any doubt, please do mention it in the comment section.